Dave Raven is our first guest, first of many we hope. Good to see you, David. You well?
I'm very well, yeah.
Good stuff. David, I know a lot of Cali Thistle fans will want to start with what's happening at the moment with yourself and your future plans, but we're going to go start to current day. We're going to take you way back. You started your career at Liverpool. A big Reds fan? Was that a dream come true for you?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I had, when I was 14, I had a few clubs interested in signing me. There was quite a few, to be fair. I went to see even Man United, Everton, Blackburn, Man City, all these northwest teams, and I went to visit them all, to be fair, and Liverpool was one of them. And I just knew I was always going to go there. It was a dream to go and play in a red shirt, you know what I mean? And even if my head told me to go somewhere else, to be fair, I was that close to joining Man City. They had a few of my mates were there, and they were given a youth team. It wasn't a Man City we know nowadays, obviously, and they were giving the youth a good chance then. And a couple of my mates went on to play in the first team, but I'd never regret signing for Liverpool and having the experience of making my debut in the first team alongside my heroes, you know. So.
And that's what I'm saying. You did play for Liverpool. You played 4 times. I think you made your debut in a League Cup tie.
Yeah.
Rafael Benitez handed you your debut.
Yeah.
You know, us mere mortals, we look at Rafael Benitez as a very successful manager on Match of the Day and still at the very top level. He gave you your debut. Do you remember what he said to you when he come in and told you, David, you're going to start today?
No, but I remember the day before I nearly didn't make training because my car broke down. And my dad said, you just leave it. He said, you won't be able to get in now. And the coaches ring me saying, you need to get in today. It's imperative you get in. I think you're playing. It was 2 days later. And I was like, well, I think it was Tottenham away in a cup. And that's how I sort of got an inkling, and we just did a bit of shape, and I was in the team lining up in this shape. Because he said, do whatever you can to get in, get a taxi, anything you can, and
run.
Yeah. And so I was just glad I did. And I can't really remember much about building up to the game and stuff like that. I remember I wasn't sort of too nervous until I got to the match and got to White Hart Lane, and I was like, this is happening, you know.
It's big time.
Yeah.
What was he like as a manager?
Benitez?
What was he like as a guy?
I mean, I could only say I dealt with him on a handful of occasions over say a new contract or when he was coaching, and his coaching was great. It was good. It was he did a lot of shape work, set his team up how he wanted them to play and stuff like this, and he seemed approachable. He seemed a good guy, and he was good. You
mentioned your heroes, you're playing alongside him. You've played alongside, especially that Liverpool team. That was a very successful Liverpool team.
Yeah.
You know, even the likes of Jamie Carragher and Steven Gerrard. Liverpool legends. You played alongside them as well. What were those like to play alongside?
They were great, yeah, because they were just normal lads anyway. And indeed, been in my shoes and a few of the other young boys' shoes, and they would help us, and they were. And he'd set the standards constantly, and we would constantly look up to them anyway. But they would, we'd be with them on nights out and things like this. And it was great. It was one of the best times I've spent in my career. Yeah.
That season was the season that Liverpool won the European Cup, the Champions League, and the Champions League final that year is a final that I think everyone will remember. It's the 3-3 game against AC Milan. Were you part of that kind of the trip out there? Were you involved at all in Istanbul?
Yeah, we was out there. Yeah, I mean, building up. So I was on a bench once in by Leverkusen. I actually didn't realise how many subs had been on, and all the subs had been put on. I carried on warming up. I was just carried on warming up the whole game. And I came in, sat in the dugout, and Didier Man and I think Jamie Carragher had been brought off by then because it was 3 or 4-0, and the pair of them were laughing their heads off. He said, "I'm going to put this in my book." You warming up after he should have come in. And then Istanbul, we were part of. There was a bunch of lads who weren't in the squad, and it was a separate sort of plane that went out there with the wives and everyone else, families and stuff. And we were able to be there and be in a changing room afterwards, and be on the pitch, be on the podium when they lifted the cup, stuff like this. I nearly didn't get on because I was wearing my jeans. I forgot my tracksuit, so one of the lads gave me his tracksuit top, and I'm wearing my jeans, and someone come up in the stand and said, "Listen, do you want to get down on the pitch with the lap of on him?" We're like, "Yeah, bloody right we do, yeah." So we went down, everyone jumped over, and I was the last to jump over, and the steward stopped me and he said, "No, you're not coming up." And I was like, "No, I'm part of that." He said, "No, you're not part of that, like, you're wearing jeans." And actually, this is another claim to fame. Fernando Morientes actually got me on the pitch that day because he was part of like our little group.
Yeah.
And he said to the steward, he's like, "Do you know who I am?" He said, "Look at this face. I've won this about 4 times, or how many times he won the Champions League. He's coming with me." And the guy was like, "Okay, on you go." So I've got him to thank for that. Like, it's good of him.
So that's why John Terry wore the tracksuit. In that final against Bayern Munich, that's why he wore the tracksuit, just to make sure he gets on. There we go. You had to leave Liverpool, obviously, you know, the following years after. You know, like you said earlier on in your career, a real kind of wrench to leave Liverpool, but you just feel the time was up.
Yeah, you know, it was. You need to be sort of well class. We all know what you need to be to play at Liverpool, and opportunities were few and far between. I felt like I took a couple of opportunities, but then I just didn't get that break that I needed. I remember like Alec Miller, you'll know Alec Miller, from Rangers and that, and he was pushing to get me. He kept saying to me, "Just push yourself more and more, get out your comfort zone and stuff." And at the time, I felt I was trying my best because Steve Finnan was injured and we only had Joss at me, and he wasn't up to much. And then it was me, but he kept putting Joss at me in, and that was that. And he obviously didn't have the faith in me that it was required, like I knew it was time to move on, and I went with a year left on my contract to go and play, and I ended up going to Carlisle, Shrewsbury, Tranmere, before you eventually joined another big club. Yeah, every team I've gone to played in blue and white, strangely.
Inverness, Cali Thistle. You moved up here 2012. What attracted you to the Highlands? I remember working for the radio and speaking to you when you first moved up, and you know, talking about obviously, you know, Celtic and Rangers had just slipped out of division, but still a good league to play in. And what attracted you to the area?
It was the pull of the SPL. Like, it was the fact that, I mean, it was an option for me as well. It was a concrete option, and there wasn't very many others as well. I'd just come through 2 or 3 years of not really playing much because I was struggling with injuries. I had a big operation on my hip, and then there was a lot of complications after that, and a lot of teams wouldn't touch me because of it. Steve Marcella at the time was a scout here, and he took a chance, and Teddy Butcher did as well, and I came up and said, yeah, let's get it done. And it's just the SPL. I was like, wow, I was buzzing to come and play in the SPL. But like, it was the away games. I mean, I don't want to sound derogatory to Inverness, but it was playing at Hearts and Hibs and Celtic and Rangers and all these places. That one, I was like, wow, yeah, I'm up for that,
Terry Butcher, was he a factor in deciding to move on? I know a lot of the guys from England that they moved up, you know, playing under Terry Butcher. He's a legend. It was
because I'm thinking, God, if he's up there, then, you know, must be half decent. And I think it is the case with a few of the other lads as well. Yeah, as you say, like especially like Gary Warren, and you know, the way he plays is a lot like Terry Butcher, all heart, and it was a big factor.
Terry, you know, working for the radio, you get to know Terry a little bit. You obviously know him a lot better than I do. I mean, a fantastic guy. You obviously saw him in close quarters. We're in a changing room now. You obviously shared a changing room with him. A really good guy that you'll look back on in years to come as a guy that helped you on and gave you a lot in your career.
Oh yeah, you could write a book on some of the stuff he did and some of the stuff he come out with. Oh, we still laugh about it now, and because he is such a big character. But I'll give him his due, because I remember when I first joined, I was doing okay, and then I just hit a big wall and a real slump in form, and he would get me in his office all the time and, what's going on with you, what's wrong, and I was just struggling with homesickness, with moving, with everything. It was just a total new change for me, and I just asked him to leave me alone. He just said, just leave me alone, I'll get through it, leave me alone, I'll get my head down and get through it. And I always remember that he did. He just completely left me alone and let me get through it and ignored me. And I thank him for that, because that's exactly what I needed. And his man management, I look back, was very, very good, and he did that a few times with a few lads. And just he knew what they needed, and he was great with that. I will give him that.
He struck me as a kind of guy that really looked after his players.
He did. He was like, you were like his kids at times, and he liked everyone looking after each other as well, and that created a massive camaraderie feeling in the camp, and that was what got our results 100%.
It's funny, I was laughing last week. I saw something that come up on Time Hop on social media, and it was a post-match interview with Terry from 2012, I think the team had just gone to Aberdeen and beaten Aberdeen on the back of beating Celtic away, and he was talking about how he'd conducted a team talk prior to the Aberdeen game and everyone had to name a dog. They had to compare himself to a dog. I mean, that's a manager walking in, and asking you what kind of dog would you be. That's just the way he is. He got the results by those kind of crazy ways.
It come from when we went down to Birmingham. I was at Birmingham, Charlton. We played a pre-season game. I think it might have been Charlton, and he said before the game, right, he just started it was a bit of a laugh. If you could be an animal, what would you be? Or it was a person from history, who would you be? And because we actually played well and got a result, well, that was it. And then every single week it was something new. We'd be coming in saying, I wonder what's going to be today. And it was great because it did make everyone relax and that. But you'd be sitting there like, we're going out to warm up in 10 minutes, Gaffer, and we're still talking about I want to be an eagle, you know what I mean, and stuff like this. Oh, it was some fun we had. Like Aaron Donnan used to crack us up. He said he was an ant because he used to carry the team. He's the strongest. He used to carry the team, and he was like talk about things like that. No, it's funny.
That debut season though was a great season. When you look back on it, almost qualifying for Europe, semi-final of the League Cup, very close on penalties, losing to Hearts. I mean, that debut season was a great season.
It was an amazing season. It was up there with one of my favourite seasons, even though we won a cup and got into Europe afterwards. Just out of enjoyment, that was up there in my whole career, out of enjoyment. How it started sort of so badly for me and finished so well. I didn't actually realise at the time how sort of close we were to Europe and things like this. I just don't know why. It just sort of went over my head a little bit at the time. And I was just astonished as well. Like the League Cup, it felt like you were a footballer when I came up to Scotland. It was like, great, I've got a chance to win a cup. I've got a chance to do this, get in Europe. And that's what you dream about as a kid. And I always say to the lads down south, to get a chance to go to Scotland and just do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That the following season, it was a kind of a gradual improvement of the team, because the team did make a final, the League Cup final, and like you say, they're playing in a cup final. It was at Parkhead, which is a bigger ground than Hampden as well, against Aberdeen. That final itself was, the club are so close to winning a trophy. We all know that they won a trophy the following season, but that season again, it just seemed to kick on. We
should have won that cup that day. Aberdeen were there for the taking. And I'm sure John Hughes will agree with me that he set us up too defensively, and he didn't want to lose the game. I think he was happy to try and nick it in extra time or something like that. He was maybe a bit worried too much about Johnny Hayes. He went off after 5 minutes anyway. Things like this happened, and it was a bit frustrating that we lost that, because Aberdeen were terrified. They had 45,000 fans there backing them, and they were terrified. They couldn't handle it, and we ended up getting beat on penalties. And you think, will we be here again, sort of thing. And luckily, obviously, we went on with the next season to do it. But it's a big even now I look back, I think, I wish we'd have won that.
Back-to-back finals. The Scottish Cup final would follow, but the succession of semi-finals and finals. When you look at the team, I mean, the team, the camaraderie and the togetherness in that team, from Terry Butcher's side right through to John Hughes, and even current day players like yourself, Gaz, Carlo. There's a real togetherness there.
There is, and I think, for instance, we went and met Drapes and Billy Mackay and Danny Devine, and it was like they'd never been away. Myself and a couple of other current players, it was like we'd been mates. Like you go and meet up with your mate you haven't seen for years, and that's what it was like, and that's how close we were. Like we met knock around outside football and inside football, and it was great to be part of. And you knew you were part of something special. I did, because I was older. And I knew something like this only comes around like once or twice. I had it once at Carlisle, and I've had it again up here. And I just knew that it won't last. So I just need to enjoy it while it does,
Season 14-15 was probably one of the best seasons in the club's history to date, qualifying for Europe, winning the Scottish Cup, and the team just went on an incredible run. It was a very consistent team. You were part of that team. The semi-final, I think, was probably one of your best moments of the season. Scoring the winner in the semi-final against Celtic, one of the highlights of your career.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly, But that and my Liverpool debut is the highlights. I don't think I'll ever match. I hope I do. That feeling that I got after the goal I scored, just the pure elation. And the crazy thing is that I often say now, to people who ask me about it, I knew it was going to happen. And you get these premonitions and feelings before games and stuff, and I just had this I knew I was going to score in that game. When they scored and they equalised, I'm thinking, this isn't right. It doesn't happen like this. I've done this in my mind about a million times, you know what I mean? And so when it did finally happen, it was the first thing I did after the game. I went outside on a pitch to have a stretch like I usually do, and I took my phone with me to ring my wife and that, and I just said I knew I was going to do that, and it was the strangest thing. And I said I just didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to jinx it, but I thought to myself before the game, I'm going to score a winner today. Very, very strange.
I remember Graham Shinney's kind of run into the box vividly. You know, I remember him cutting in from the left, and it was a case of, you know, you saw Graham Shinney then knock it back across, and it was yourself that was there, and it was just the last person you expected.
Everyone's got
all due respect, you know.
What's he doing?
But it was a cool finish. It was a camp finish.
Yeah, I can't really remember that much about it, to be honest. It just comes to me, make a connection, and when you're at the back of the net, you just think, wow, I think that feeling was just awesome feeling. And I was on high for a long time after that.
The celebration afterwards, you know, coming back up to Inverness. I mean, those are great moments. The Scottish Cup final, unfortunately, injury, you know, saw you miss out at the last moment as well. Was it really right up until the last moment that you missed out?
It was probably a week or two before I'd done my calf. Just didn't realise how bad it actually was. It was a real good tear in my calf. Like there's still a hole in it now. You can still see it. There was never a chance of me playing. It was disappointing, obviously, it's gutting, but because of that moment in semi-final, it sort of helped me. You know what I mean? And to think that like maybe that was my moment. Do you know what I mean? The lads can go and lift the cup now, and that's like I can live with that.
You've played your part, type thing. You know?
Yeah. I've had me that feeling of that, you know, elation, if you like.
The cup win was an incredible weekend. I mean, I was involved with the club too, and it's a weekend I'll never ever forget for the rest of my days. For you guys, though, it must have been, you know, extra special. That journey back up the road, the party the Saturday night, the Sunday night, the Monday night, the Tuesday night. You know, it just kept going. You know, it was great days.
It was brilliant. Yeah, God, the journey up the road was just one of the most surreal, crazy journeys I've ever made in my life. We stopped at Octorada for our fish and chips, as we usually do. And we've walked in, I think it was me or someone else, and we've carried this tiny little pub that we sometimes stop at. There's about 4 people in there, and we've just bowled in with the Scottish Cup and just took over the place, and it's gone absolutely mental. Chairs are up and down, you know what I mean? And unbelievable. We stopped off on the A9 for some reason. The gaffer had us out the A9 practicing something that we were going to do with the cup when we got back to the stadium. It was just madness. Funny. John Hughes said he hadn't had a drink for 7 years before that, and I could see why. Absolute head case. It's funny.
The day after, you know, the open top bus through the town. I mean, moments like that you'll probably cherish for the rest of your life. You know, and the celebrations in the meeting park in Inverness. I remember you getting on the guitar afterwards as well. You're a very musical kind of guy, aren't you? Yeah. I played the guitar and the piano, and I love a good sing song. Yeah. I think one of my favourite memories of yourself, not on the part, there was a Cali Thistle end of season awards dinner at the Kingsmills Hotel, and I think the Kingsmill staff were trying to get everyone out.
We haven't been invited back since, have we?
No. And you were on the piano in the bar afterwards, and it was for Cali Thistle fans that were there, and there was a few of them, and I remember everyone just kind of crowded around the piano, and I was just saying, Dave, play this, play that. You just kept going. The Kingsmill staff were trying to get rid of you, but you're a very talented musical guy.
It's great because it just brings people together like that. I just think if you can play a few songs on a guitar or a piano and that, and people have a good sing song, there's nothing better. It's absolutely brilliant. One of me, like, talk about best memories, is when we went to a semi-final with the European. We ended up getting to a semi-final with England in the European Championships when I was 17, and one of my best memories there was on the piano, and there was us. There was the France team. I think it was the Swiss team, and there was like 4 teams. It might have been like the Spanish. And it was absolutely amazing. There was about 100 lads all having this big sing-song, arm in arm, all from different countries, all mixed in. And I think, that's what it's all about. It's brilliant.
Season 2015-16, the European experience was something. It was a very difficult season for the club that season. There was a lot of injuries. I think yourself were out for a long period of time. It ended on a kind of very strange note. You know, yourself, I think you were basically told that you were out of contract and so you wouldn't get a contract, and it ended with yourself wearing the the kind of players, the supporters player of the year, and I think the supporters really got behind you.
Yeah,
I think you were kind of overwhelmed by the support, but that was must have been a kind of strange experience for yourself.
It was, yeah, because I was probably a day or two away from giving a notice on my house where I live, and then I got a phone call from, I think it was the chairman at the time. He said, like, listen, hold your horses, things are going to change and stuff. And I was like, at the time I was a bit like, it was all a bit, you get a bit fed up with it, you know what I mean? And I didn't have any, I've spoke to John Hughes since, and people think we've got this thing against each other. We haven't. Like, we're absolutely fine. I've rang him and we've spoken. It's a business, and he's for me to move on, and I was absolutely fine with it, no problem. And then when the fans all got behind me, that was amazing. It really was. I've never had that in my career, and that's an amazing feeling, that was. But yeah, that was a strange season. I think the turning point might have been the Dundee United being interested in a gaffer at the time, and I don't know what happened there. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there seemed to be a turning point then, where you sort of knew that his days were numbered, even though we just signed a contract, and it's just a very strange feeling in the camp, yeah.
The following season was obviously a really torrid season for the club, being relegated to the Championship. That's where we are at the moment. But in terms of, for yourself, I believe that, time will be up come January for yourself, and you'll move on to kind of pastures new. How do you sum up your 5.5 years in Inverness and with Caledonian Thistle? It's been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've loved it here. I love the place. I love the city and the people and the club and everything about it. And when I move on, I just hope it gets back to where it should be. And that's genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I just want it to do well, and it's just time for me to move on personally, for a number of different reasons, and that's just the way it is. And I think it's the right time for me to go on as well. I'll miss living here. I think it's the most beautiful place in the country, to be honest. And it's just, I think one of the main reasons I'm moving on is just the lack of opportunity after football for me, because otherwise I think we'd be sort of happy to stay and see what's out there. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, going down south is the best thing I can do at the minute. Who knows what's in the future, but I can only make the decisions what I can see in front of me now. So but what an experience it's been. Some of the best memories. I've been here. We've come up here as a married couple and we're going back with two children. That's
right, because your family have kind of been, you brought the family up and got them kind of inducted into Highland life as well. 2
Highlanders going home with us, going back.
The area itself, I mean, I know you're a very keen fisherman and stuff like that. You did really embrace the area. You like to get out and go and venture into the countryside.
I loved it, absolutely brilliant. I just couldn't believe that 10 minutes down the road from me was this amazing river to go salmon fishing on, and that's just, for people from England, you know what I mean, that's it's amazing. And you go into the mountains and stuff like this, and I just think it's absolutely brilliant. So
correct me if I'm wrong, there was a wee story going about at the club a few years ago that you made a citizen's arrest whilst fishing. How many SPL footballers have made a citizen's arrest?
Oh, this is Aaron Donnan again, this twisting the facts to suit him for a story. What's happened was, it was a Sunday. You can't fish on a Sunday anyway. And these two guys, I was walking down the Ness Islands, were chucking a line out, and reeling in. And I thought, I best tell these boys, because you can get fined, you get your rod taken off you and everything. And I went over to him, I just said to him, listen mate, you do realise you can't fish here on a Sunday. I'm just letting you know, because if you get caught, they're going to do you. And then he was talking, he got all aggressive with me. And I was like, what, mate? And I walked on anyway. I told the lads about it. So it's now changed from that story into me going up to somebody and saying, right, I'm arresting you, you shouldn't be fishing here, and all this. So, it's a bit of a wives' tale now.
So that's Aaron Doran at the
Aaron Doran again, he's full of rubbish,
So I thought maybe you were going to turn into this kind of, Judge Dredd kind of guy running around arresting folk,
Oh, it's funny,
The future, what does it hold for yourself? I know that you're doing your coaching badges and you've got your qualifications and stuff like that. Obviously, you're keen to get into coaching once the boots get hung up.
Yeah, I've got sort of big ambitions for that. I've got really a lot of ideas around in my head, and being around at this level of football for all of my career, I've come across good coaches, but I've also come across a lot of bad ones, and I feel like I owe it to this level of football, if you like, if I can come in and even go higher. But I just feel like I owe it to football to give a little bit back to young lads who I see coming through and thinking, I'd do that, I'd do that, and I've got a real desire to go and push that as much as I possibly can. I mean, the big ambition would be to manage in the Premier League one day, and that is my dream. So, yeah, I'm just going to push and pursue that as much as I possibly can.
Excellent. David, thanks for your time. All the best in the future, mate. Thanks for your time again. All right.